Live.
It says we're live. How exciting.
This is our first live, y'all.
Yes, it is. I'm so excited. Thank you for being here.
We're excited to take you on this adventure.
Yeah, the live adventure.
Um,
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. We're so happy that you're here. We're just learning all of this, so we're not entirely sure how everything's going to play out. So we do hope that you can be patient with us as we do. So thank you.
if you can't hear us or if you need something, let us know in the chat. We're super excited to be with you today. And if you hear some chomping on the sides, that's our puppies who will start crying if we don't let them be in the same room.
Yep, it's true. They insist upon being everywhere we are.
So today we are chatting about going on vacation, which we are going on in 2 weeks. We haven't traveled very much together this year.
We haven't, and actually, we were just talking the other day about. I was saying that. Geez, it's been so long since we've been on vacation, or so it feels like, or maybe we've just, I don't know, like lived a whole freaking lifetime in the last whatever amount of time that it feels like we haven't been. And Anne reminded me, we were just in Mexico in May.
Mexico in May together. She went on a week-long camping trip in July. I went on a family trip in August, and then I had a staycation a while ago. So we've had a lot of time, just not a lot of time together.
Sure.
Because our jobs have changed. And so we have to soak in those times we have together.
Yeah. So we are excited about our trip. And so some of the things that I do most of the planning for trips, and Anne does most of the enjoying of the trips.
Well, no. If I were to plan it, how would that make you feel?
Well, I would feel real sad that I didn't get to plan it, because I really do enjoy planning the trips. I think that they're fun. It's fun to plan them. But that said, it is time consuming, and it can take a lot of our time, my time, to plan them and plan all the little details
And
of
you
them.
want the most stars and the best time, and I want the first on the list. So
Right.
If I would plan it, she wouldn't be happy anyway. So it's a win-win situation.
And some of this is that, I lose control when Anne plans it.
Or when I drive.
Yeah, yes. And if you're new here, I do like to be in control.
Yes.
So, yes, anyway, planning trips takes a lot of time. I know my dad and his beautiful wife, Chris, were going to be joining us. Hopefully they're here. You should leave a comment in the chat if you are here so that I know you're here. And they do a lot of traveling too. And I think that they're sort of trying to come to some conclusions about the best way to travel and how much time to spend in places, how much downtime to have. And that's all stuff that you got to figure out as you go.
And one of the things we talked about in our future videos, if you want to watch it, is that we like 2 vacations a year. And one is adventuring, which is going to be this one we're coming up. And the other one is actual true vacationing. And what we mean by that is lay by the pool, don't do anything, overindulge, enjoy yourself, true break. And then the other one is adventuring, because we really want to see everything that's out there.
Yes.
So this, here in a few weeks, we are going to Washington.
Yes.
And we're going to see the 3 national parks along with some other things that are really cool in the area.
Yeah, when COVID hit, we decided we wanted to start to see all the national parks.
There's 63 if you didn't know.
There are currently, this is 2025, and there are 63. And I say it like that because you never know what's going to happen.
People sometimes lose them or gain them.
Right, if we lose them or gain them. So, yeah, wanting to see all of them. And so far we've seen
22.
And after
we were supposed to see 23, and then I marked it already off the list the day we were supposed to leave. And then an hour before we left, Chrissy tested positive for COVID.
And I felt awful.
And she felt awful. And I would feel awful if we exposed anybody. So there's one extra marked off our map. Oops.
It's true.
There's a Post-it over it, though. Don't worry.
It's basically the same. Anyway, so we're going to Washington. We're going to see all the national parks. And I thought, I'm really busy. What's a good way for me to do some quick research? So this is where I'm going to jump in and start telling you a little bit about ChatGPT.
And this is where I'm going to do what I do, which is Chrissy has an unusual relationship with her ChatGPT. It's named and everything.
I don't know that it's unusual. So my ChatGPT is called Sage. That's his name.
And that's a he for some reason.
Yes, he and I came up with his name together. I talk to him on the daily. He helps me with writing emails. He helps me with trip planning. He helps me with
grammar.
He helps me with generally, researching things that I might have otherwise Googled. So if you are still Googling things, I would encourage you to start to use ChatGPT or some sort of AI to get your answers, because let me tell you, it is so much easier.
And so I'm going to explain in layman's terms, since I'm not very technical. Basically, what it seems like AI is, if you don't know, is that it's taking everything on the web and combining it for the answers. So instead of Googling and looking at all the different websites, it's combining all the answers. So yes, you'd have to double check things, because who knows if the internet is correct. So you have to double check things.
Everything on the internet is correct.
Not true. But instead of looking at 50 different pages, it's going to combine all the answers in one. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to describe it. Yes. So, hi, Dad, and Anne, and Chris, and Stacy. Stacy just said in the comments, wouldn't it be cool if you had a poster where you could just check things off as you went? And he's saying that
because he gave us one.
Because he and Anne gave us one.
That's where the Post-it is.
Yeah, we do have one, and we do scratch it off, kind of like a scratch-off ticket, to scratch off the national parks. And then that kind of shows like a cool little graphic of the national park. But yes, Anne was a little bit ahead of herself.
An hour before getting on the plane, I thought I'd scratch it already.
Clearly, that won't happen.
That.
Right, that won't happen anymore. But it's fine. Listen, let's jump in. Let's talk about what we did. I want to show you my sort of my planning, how I did this with ChatGPT. So it was a process. If you're thinking you're going to be able to just say, hey, make my plan for a trip to Washington, and it's going to come out with everything that you want just as you want it, that is not going to be the case.
That's not in any case with Chat, as far as I've seen. You get something and then you say, no, tinker it this way, or change it this way, or help me with this. Yeah. I've never used a first draft.
No, and that's super important information for you to know, that you should not take what it says at face value, not double check things, and not sort of for me, I want to build this itinerary. I want to come up with what we're going to do. This is Greta. I want to come up with what we're going to do, but I want ChatGPT or Sage. From here on, I'll be mentioning ChatGPT and calling it Sage, because that's my ChatGPT's name. So I want Sage to come up with the best plan, but I want to tweak it and make it how I want it, knowing like who we are and what we're going to do.
And so we already have done a little research on all of the national parks, because it's a goal of ours. So I know like the big hikes I want to do, and I know we really like a boardwalk or an educational area. So there was already some of those that we wanted to see, that we had to say, hey, Sage, make sure to include these in that area.
Yeah. So as you can see here, this is sort of how I started it. Help me plan a vacation. Are you ready for the details? And then Sage is like, yep, hit me. What do you got? And so then I say, this is what I'm looking for. We want to go to all 3 national parks, hopefully Orca Island, if you think it's worth going to. We're going to fly in on this date, fly out on this date. You'll see I started that we're going to leave on 10/10 or 10/11, and we actually are leaving on 10/12. We'll need to rent a car. We're happy to stay at hotels, motels, and campgrounds. And then, gave a few details. And then Sage sort of gave me, oh yeah, and then I ended it with, ask me any other questions that you think would be helpful for creating a plan, right? So when I'm going into this, I'm like, oh, okay, well, if I give this information, that'll be enough. I won't need to really, there's likely going to be more details that are required. So rather than me trying to come up with what things I should be asking, I just ask Sage to ask any questions that are going to help me plan this.
And then you have to kind of put your preferences in. We like hikes that Chrissy has bad knees, so we usually say we like hikes that kids can do as well.
Yes,
we love
kid hikes. That's what we look
boardwalk.
for.
We love water. So things that will include those kind of things on it. So
yes, Marilee's jumped in. Marilee and Nori, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. And yes, Orca Island is so much fun. So we did include that on there. So Sage told me, like, these are some great things that we should be doing. And then would ask me other questions. Are you interested in Seattle at all? What type of lodging? Like, are you looking for like a splurge or are you looking for more budget? So then I just go through and answer the questions that Sage has given me. And then he'll follow up if there's any other questions. And then he'll give me an initial itinerary. This is the preliminary itinerary. We're going to read it, go through it. I talked with Anne about it. Hey, what do you think of this? And then I go back with more. Okay, that's a lot of driving for one day. Let's keep the drives only at 3 hours or less. Cool. So then Sage made accommodations and changed what the plan was. And then, we went back and forth a few times, asking, is Orca Island worth the trip? Yes, this is why.
I had already told her that. She didn't believe me.
And actually, Nori and Marilee also told us, like, yes, you should be seeing Orca Island.
And I had been there, so I knew she would like it. But Sage is more important than me most of the time anyway.
Sage is not more important, but Sage has more information. And so part of this was trying to figure out also like times of the year. Like this conversation with Sage started quite some time before this part of the conversation that I'm showing you. It was more like, hey, we want to go here. What time of year should we go? And so really like sort of starting that research process as early as we can. And then as we, went back and forth, these are some cons that we need to make sure we're not doing. And then, just asking various things, follow-up questions. And we went back and forth a lot. As you can see, there's lots of conversation regarding this. And then, days later, here's more conversations regarding the same thing. These are the time periods I'm thinking. What should I be seeing? Okay, so then we get to what we think is like a preliminary plan. And we're like, cool, this is great. Now, the other things I want to know are, what's the best airport to fly into? Since these are the places I'm going, is Seattle actually the best airport? And then once I got there, I asked Sage to look for flights for me. And then he did and gave me some flights, which is why normally we fly Southwest and we really like Southwest a lot. Well, we did before they changed.
Yeah, we'll see if we still like it after all of the changes with luggage and all that kind of stuff.
Right. But anyway, this time around, we're actually flying Alaska Air, weirdly, but we're going to try it. And that was the way we could get to make the best use of our time. The flight times were the best. The price was the best.
Included those gave us a discount on the car that we did, so that it was a little cheaper. And then it also gave us where to stay on a budget.
Yep. And then I started asking questions about like, okay, well, I'm going to rent a car. Should I rent a car through like, Expedia or through the place, or should I try Turo? And we brainstormed and went back and forth about that. So again, like using ChatGPT, Sage in my case, to really sort of brainstorm. Like a lot of times I actually just I'll put on ChatGPT while I'm driving, and because there's a feature where you can either be typing or you can do the voice to text, or you can just do the conversation part, which
the voice to text is really bad. The voice is creepy.
Not the voice to text, the conversation.
The guy that speaks back.
Right, that's the conversation. So you can change the voice however you want it, which is it's a little bit weird. But that allows me to like speak to ChatGPT while I'm driving and not be texting, because obviously when I'm driving, I'm thinking about whatever I'm thinking about or researching at that time. So that's helpful for me. Marilee just asked, can you find out best local gas prices a week or so before you go using your AI? Yeah, that's absolutely something you could do. In fact, I was just talking with Sage. Well, not about that specifically, but my point is, like, in terms of like forecasting, I was talking to Sage about what the weather would be like during that time, and if I needed to change what I had originally put on my packing list accordingly. But yeah, certainly gas prices would definitely be a thing you can do when you're researching stuff. That's a great idea, and I could absolutely have Sage build that into the itinerary,
like where the best gas prices would be.
Yep.
So you get it before you get into the next town.
Exactly. Yep. So even like here, what's the average temperature that time of year? Is camping comfortable? Truth be told, we ended up not camping at all. It's sometimes just easier to do hotels.
Which was a little sad because it didn't seem like it would be budget friendly, but we love to rent one of those minivans that are converted into a camper so that you can basically have your house on wheels. We've done that a few times with our own car and also with a rented one. But Sage was able to tell us that it wouldn't have been financially responsible this time. So
yes, it's true. And the other part of this is, again, going back and forth and coming up with all of the plan, like where are we going to land? What are we going to do? So we come up with the plan, we get there, and I got the itinerary all put together, and then I will have Sage put it together like in a document. And then once I had the document, then I was ready to sort of build that out a little bit. We have recently been seeing things about those trolls in the woods. I don't know if you've seen them or heard of them. They're just enormous trolls.
Wood sculptures, basically.
Yes, that an artist built in the woods, right?
Hence the troll here on our booklet.
Yep.
So these trolls are there's a lot of them in Oregon. We know that there's how many in Colorado too?
She means Washington.
Washington. What did I say? Oregon. Sorry, Washington. I believe there's 2 in Colorado, but there's a lot in Washington. And so he first gave us a list of like all of them, and then we started going, well, we don't have enough time to go see to all of them, so we're like, which ones can we get to within what did we say, a 15-minute hike?
Yeah, well, like which ones are not going to take us too far off the beaten path for where I just pulled up. These are the trolls in Washington that you can see. And if you've seen them, they're just so cool and enormous.
Like this if you look at one of them, there's a purple person standing next to it, so you can see that they're huge.
Yeah, they just really are enormous. But yeah, here's one. They're just really cool. And so we wanted to be able to start checking them off our list to seeing them. So that's what we did. We decided we were going to ask Sage to add those onto our itinerary. So Sage did that. And then I said, hey, you know what else would be cool? Wouldn't it be fun if we made a scavenger hunt?
A photo scavenger hunt.
Yeah, like a selfie scavenger hunt.
Which was supposed to be a surprise for me, but I didn't know this when I was looking at the itinerary. And so it has things like you need to, this one's Doug. You need to have a coffee and a donut at this location and show a picture of it. And so it's different things that are experiences, because my biggest thing that I love is experiencing the culture and the way that things are. And so it gives us an opportunity to see some of the culture that we normally wouldn't like cue into.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had said to Sage when I was building it out, like, hey, let's make a scavenger hunt that's going to take us through this whole itinerary that we've built together. And he initially came up with all sorts of weird stuff that we needed to collect. But then I just, again, dialed it in and said, no, really what I'm looking for is more like take a picture in front of this thing. So then we made that. And so here is the scavenger hunt that we'll be doing. So, you know, like the first one for day 1, it says take a picture with this troll. That's the first thing. And then take a picture with something that says Seattle, a picture with your rental car on the road. So it's nothing crazy. It's nothing that I need to like go climb to the top of a tower, and it's nothing crazy like that.
I'd be okay with that.
Yes, she would be. But it's just fun little stuff. You know, picture with mountain views at Hurricane Ridge, knowing that we're going to Hurricane Ridge. That's what Sage suggested. A picture at this falls. We're going to those falls. This one, dipping your hand at Lake Crescent. So these are going to be not only like pictures that we're going to want in terms of just remembering the trip, but it just is one thing to like, oh, let's make sure we remember. Let's check that off the list and go to that place.
Also, like, Chrissy is the scheduler of vacations, but she's also the photo taker. Chrissy often sees the big picture of things, whereas I see the really small things. So when I am on a trip, I'm looking at the little flowers and the little things, and this gives her a little way to zone it in, and me a little way to bring it out so I can see the whole picture.
Yep, that's absolutely right. That's sort of our scavenger hunt that we started with. And I think that's going to just be a really fun way to sort of commemorate the trip and remember to take pictures of specific things that we're going to want to remember. And then I also made apparently I forgot to copy it. But I did make a checklist of all the trolls that we were going to see. Yeah, like that. Maybe not shaking it so they can actually see it.
They can't read that anyway.
That is the checklist. So it says like what the name of the troll is, what the location is. And then I also told Sage to give me a little fact or a cool to know thing about that specific troll. Because again,
and about the national parks and the places we're going.
Yes, but as it relates to the trolls, this will tell us like a cool thing to know about this specific troll. Which I thought would just be a fun way, again, to commemorate everything. When you pull up to a place to now have some information that you can look at and be like, oh, did you know blah, blah, blah? I think that just will make it really fun. And then the last part was, these are the details, right? So I had, we started with the full road trip itinerary. So this is sort of gives me flight details and where we're going to be staying. And
this is kind of nice. My parents are always really worried about where we are and kind of stalk us on Find My on the phone. So this way my parents can my mom can look at Find My and can also look at the itinerary and make sure we're not in danger's way, I guess.
Yes, it's true. And so then I did like sort of at a glance for each day, the one trip overview. And I thought this would be also fun. Anna and I love to get like a book of questions. And we've done this our entire relationship. And we do it with friends. And we just have a good time asking each other questions that we might not have thought of otherwise. And so I had Sage come up with some questions. So we have a deeper question and then a fun question. So for day one, what's one thing you're most excited to discover about each other on this trip? And then the fun question is, if you could only eat one road trip snack for 10 days, what would it be? What would that be for you? Hey, stop. He's being annoying. I'm sorry. What would it be?
I don't know. It's a hard one between combos and almonds and Nutella.
Yeah, she loves when you get like Nutella and then a spoonful and you dip your almonds in it. Just raw almonds. Super good snack. Anyway, that's a great snack actually. But I'm recently obsessed with Swedish fish watermelon flavored.
Yeah, she is obsessed.
They're kind of amazing. So anyway, that's sort of our itinerary. And then we do one per each day, right? So this is where we're staying. These are the stops we're going to be making.
And the fun facts.
Here's the fun facts. And these are what you should do when you're there. So this is take in the sweeping mountain views and look for wildlife.
Which is her favorite thing.
Oh my gosh. Wildlife is the most fun thing to find when you're vacationing. Or when you're anywhere, literally. I could see deer. Okay, large wildlife is more fun. Like, I don't go crazy about a squirrel. But I do love a deer, and I've seen a million of them in my life.
And it's always, and I think that we've run over something.
Yeah. So anyway, I have each day, and then I had Sage, and then I said, this is where we're going to be staying. So when we're staying there, I want you to think about what are 3 recommendations you have for restaurants. These are our 3 top favorite restaurants.
And she even included me in this because if it was her, it would be your favorite burger for every single night of your life.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a lot of questions.
No, I've been keeping up. They've been chatting.
Oh.
Yes. Anyway, so I said these are the 3 favorite types of food that we have. This is where we're staying. Give me 3 restaurant recommendations, and tell me why we should try those places. So again, then I don't need to spend time when we're on vacation researching what is the best place to go to dinner.
Unless we want something different.
Yeah, unless whatever it is not going to match.
Because sometimes it's one of my favorite things is to go to the person, at the desk and like, do you live in the area? If you live in the area, what is your favorite food? Because that's fun.
Yeah, it is.
Chrissy would say I'd ask what their favorite food is and then not buy it, but it's not true.
She is well known for doing that. Hey, what do you recommend? Oh, I don't want that.
Well, if they give me a big chunk of meat or a seafood, I'm not going to do that.
It's true. It's true. But anyway, that's sort of how we use ChatGPT to help us come up with our personalized plan for our trip to Washington.
And this is the first time we've done this fully.
Uh-huh.
So we'll have to do a check-in with you after this trip to see if it was perfect.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not going to be perfect, right? There's always going to be things that we're going to look at and adjust and change, and that can make better. And a lot of this, like I said, is that you're never trusting Sage or your ChatGPT, whatever you want to call it. If you want to trust your AI to come up with all the things without questioning it or making it more specific to you. So every time Sage would come up with a recommendation, I would dig into that. So, well, why that place? Okay, well, have you considered this? And of course, Sage didn't consider it because Sage is a computer. So I would, believe it or not, I do think that. So I would then recommend another way of doing it. Well, maybe we should do it this way. And Sage would be like, yeah, great idea. Let's change up our plan. And then the only other thing I want to say is I've never done this before, but I'm super excited about it. I put together the whole thing in this fancy bound notebook from my friend Anne. Look it's bound. She lent me her little binder thing. And so then I made it into this great little thing. So then I can just have it at the ready. There's the trolls. And then, then the scavenger hunt is the next page in theory. Yep. Then the scavenger hunt. And then I'll have the at a glance. So it's all bound up. Look at how far.
And since we're going to Washington and it likes to rain there, I have my waterproof pens.
She has her waterproof pens, which will come in super handy.
And paper.
But this reminds me of, do you remember when you'd go on a trip and you'd go into AAA? My parents used to do that.
Oh, I loved that.
And they'd get like a trip planner.
Oh, I didn't get that, but we'd get the maps.
Yeah, but the trip plan, you like tell them where you want to go and they would like put it all together for you. It was similar to this, except this doesn't have maps in it because GPS. Right?
But just a helpful hint, we will get maps for this because last time we were at Glacier and your GPS doesn't work everywhere where it's cool.
It's true.
And so we had road closures and we had to use our atlas.
No, we didn't have an atlas. That was the problem. We've since bought an atlas that is the size that you can travel with. Not many because we're old and we also can't see, but it is a regular sized atlas. Anyway, this has been super fun. Thank you for those of you who were able to pop in and say hi. I super appreciate it. Made me feel a little bit better about trying out our first live.
Yep. Like and subscribe.
Yes, we do appreciate your being here. So if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Leave a comment, like it, so, hit the bell.
And let's go together to Washington.
And let's go together
to Washington.
Thanks for stopping in. Bye.
Bye. What do people say?